For whatever reason, I'm just deciding to do this. A few of you are going to get to see me record this video live. I don't know if I'm going to leave it up afterwards. We'll see. Maybe I'll leave it up just so I have content. But a lot of people have been asking me how I keep stuff organized. Some of those people are amazed that I can keep it organized. Some of those people are just curious because they want to stay organized themselves. I am using a program called Obsidian, and we're going to get more into that a little bit, but mostly what I want, and I should probably get this chat doc opened up in OBS just in case anything comes up as we're recording this. No, I want you completely out. I keep forgetting when you double click the title bar on these docs, they go back into OBS. Not that I really expect anybody to show up to this, but if they do, I want to be able to see the chat, and we will see what happens. So, with that in mind, um, I'm gonna hit the record button, and we will see if I get to record and stream at the same time because I have no idea. And yeah, so let's go. Hey, everybody. I have had a lot of people asking what I do to keep myself organized here for the podcast. Some of those people are surprised that me, as a single person, can keep everything so organized. Some people are people who know me a little bit better and just on a more personal level are surprised that I can keep it organized. That is not a surprise to me at all. That is not anything that offends me at all. Honestly, I'm surprised that more people aren't surprised that I can do this. What I use is a program called Obsidian. Obsidian is basically, hey, make your own little wiki. And it can be as detailed or as general, macro level as you'd like, but that is one thing I actually really like about it. So let's talk about a few things before we actually look at the program. Why do I need all this organization in the first place? I am a one-man show here at Play Comics. Yes, there are people that I ask questions to. Every once in a while, I'll get Kaylee to come listen to something for me. I'll throw ideas out to friends and stuff, but as far as actually getting the work done is concerned, it is all me. I am booking the guests. I am recording the episodes. I am doing the research for all the games, like everything. And, excuse me, everything. And I need to make sure that I know what's going on. And I need to make sure that the only things that are taking up my time for this are things that actually need to get done. And I've missed things in the past because I've had my notes spread out all over the place, whether that be a mix between emails and Twitter messages and calendar things that had spots in there. Like, I have not had a good central spot where I could go and put a bunch of information for the episode, put a bunch of information about the guest, anything like that. When I started off doing this, I attempted to just do it with Twitter and Facebook messages and Twitter messages and things like that. And if it's in the calendar, it's good. If it's not in the calendar, it's not good. And forgetting that I booked somebody and double booking things. And honestly, it was pretty bad. Um, After that, I switched to using Airtable, which is good. It had a lot of the automatic moving things around that I like based on what stage things are in and things like that. But I felt like it was really too rigid for what I wanted. Um, so a lot of that is why I am switching to Obsidian. Overall, it is just less structured and more adaptable for one-off things. I can go in here and let's look at the bonus episode I did with Adam Williamson about Funko Pops, for example. Yeah, that was a fun episode, and I like being able to talk to Adam about stuff. But I can't really make a template for that and have it work. Like, I don't need a bunch of the information that I need if I'm talking up to comic creators or game creators about their stuff. I certainly don't need the information I need from regular episodes. But there is a lot of the same information that I do need, and we're going to look at a lot of that a little bit later. And this is still pretty structured though here in Obsidian because I'm essentially setting up a database. So you have to have a lot of the same key information in all of the pages here. Otherwise, you just can't really pull information together. And honestly, Airtable was just. It was a pain for me to go in and fix it. I forgot that I was also using Suite CRM, which is a fork of Sugar CRM, which is a customer resource management kind of program. But I had the same problems with Airtable there. Like Airtable, eventually I was going to run into I have too much information for their free plan. Suite CRM was something I could roll on with my website hosting, but I ran into the same kind of problems. It was just a pain to update it, and I did it. Sorry. Suite CRM, I just ran into some of the same problems there. It was just a pain to update things, and so I didn't. And if I ever changed anything, I had to go in and change it on every single episode that already existed. So we're onto Obsidian now, where, yeah, I guess technically I still, if I want all the information, I'm going to have to go back and change it on every single episode. But it's really a whole lot easier to change. So let's take a look at what I'm working with here, and maybe some of these people who have had questions for me can get a look at this, and we will see if it's something that might work for you. Okay, so when I open Obsidian here, this is what I see, whether it be here or on my phone. Um, Basically, when I'm opening it, most of the time I know exactly. I'm not opening it just to open it. I'm opening it because I need to go update a specific thing. But there, there are a few pages that I just know that I'm going to need to see every once in a while. So if I have, if I'm looking for some quick info, then switch this over to reading mode because it just looks a little cleaner. I have some quick info that I'm looking at. So I have some guests that I want to have on. This scene names here means absolutely nothing. It's just I want to have them on as a guest, so I made a fake episode here just so I can say that they're all a guest on that one episode. I have things that I need to get recorded. They have a guest tied to them, but they don't necessarily have a time that they're going to get recorded. I have upcoming recordings that are scheduled, even though one of these is technically wrong because I haven't changed it in here yet, because that would just make too much sense. No, I did change it. We're fine. And I have all of my podcast to dos. So it's just things that I need to get done. And we're good. Kind of the bread and butter of what I'm looking at are the episode lists. So I like folders. A lot of people will use this without folders because it's Wikipedia. You can just link to everything and be good. But I like folders and I don't want to have to search for things. I just want to be able to leave this file explorer open the entire time. So, for future episodes, I know I can look right here and see, hey, these are games that have the metadata in them showing that they're on my quick list. So I need to try to find somebody as soon as I can to get recorded with them. These are ones that it's the same kind of idea. It's just pulling things that are in the far future. So again, I need to try to find somebody who I can get recorded with them, but they're also ones that are a little further off, or in some cases, a lot further off. And I just don't have to worry about finding anybody that quickly. Fold this thing up because I don't feel like scrolling. I have a few that people have shown interest in. I need to talk to them again. Yeah, that really needs to happen. They're not ones that the people are tied to it. I also have ones where the guest is booked, and I know that I need to get with these people and get a time figured out. But other than that, we're just kind of sitting there. They know they're doing it. I know they're doing it. They're definitely doing it. And again, we have the episodes that I have scheduled because these are still future episodes. They exist in no tangible way, so it makes sense in my head that this is where they'd be. I have a whole separate page for episodes that are in production. So, re- recording episodes where the recording is scheduled, yes, they don't have any real tangible existence, but I also feel like I need to see them here. So they're kind of that last step in a future episode. Let's worry about it later. And the first step in, hey, we're working on this episode, let's get it done. You know, I can have the guest booked all day long, but until we have a time, nothing really exists. Which, some guests have come and, sometimes it's just harder to schedule people than others. It happens. I do have a couple spots here where I need to hurry up and release an episode, which is not necessarily a hurry up, but is a just a note for me that this has a end time where I probably want to get it released before that. And I don't have any right now, but I do have a spot where ones I don't have any right now, but I do have a spot where if I have any episodes that I can't release yet for whatever reason, then they'd be sitting in there. So ones for me that are waiting to release are not like they've been recorded and I just want to get other episodes out first. These are ones, most of the time, it's creator talk things where like they don't want to have any interviews out until after a certain date. Like maybe Marvel has told them that you can't have any podcast appearances before October 13th. So I'd go in there and I'd say, hey, October 13th, guess what? I have to wait to release you, and I can't release you before then. Cool. And if I would ever get ahead on my editing, I'd be able to have a spot where I have episodes that are edited. Also, I have ones that are recorded. That's a pretty obvious thing. And episodes that are published, which is just a simple here's the episode title, here's the guest, and the episode number, because that's really all you need. And then again, another spot for bonus episodes. You will notice over here that I do have some kind of funky numbering 14.5, 15, 15.2, and 15.6. Those are either for when I was trying to do a Patreon first series and they had their own numbering set, or where I just forgot how to count and I numbered things wrong. So eventually I would have like two episode 40s or something. And, the one that came out is 40, the other one is 40.5. It's just a way to keep them in the correct order, but also keep them with the episode number that they're associated with. So I have also made a quick page for if I need to share something with people. This is what I'm looking at. One of those things is having a plain text quick list that I can just copy and paste for the Play Comics website. And every so often, I'll come in here, compare it to what I've got on the website, and just replace what's there. It's a real easy copy paste job. I love it. And if people are asking about a certain game, I recently had somebody ask about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. So I just came in and typed in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in a magic bit of code and found these are episodes that I have on my list that have the words Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the title, but are completely 1000% available. I think it's a pretty good little system. Again, it's just something where I can go in and share with people real quick. This is what I've got available. Bread and butter, the real bread and butter, that is, of everything, is the episode pages themselves. So we're going to take a look at a recent episode of the show. Forgot that I folded that up. It stayed folded. We're going to take a look at a recent episode of the show so that I can show you really everything. Sorry, my mom is checking on people to see how they did with hurricane stuff because I'm recording this Saturday, the 1st of October. Okay, so as you look at all of this, for the episodes, we have the guests, and we'll take a look at one of their pages in a minute. We have the consoles that this game is on. We have the comic publisher, people involved in making the game, whether it be from the development standpoint or the publisher standpoint, and who the playable characters are. All of these things link to a page that has all kinds of information about them. I think my favorite thing on here, though, is all the tables I have down below that. So here in the comic background section, I have this good timing on my there. I'm going to make my phone go on Do Not Disturb because I don't feel like hearing that and dealing with it. Maybe my favorite thing about all of this is some of the information that's automatically pulled in. So here in this comic background section, we have Where Have I Seen Them Before? It's automatically looking at these playable characters that are right here and saying, hey, what games have we seen these characters in already that were published before this episode was? So here for Cyclops, he's been in 16 games already. And these are sorted alphabetically. I guess I could, through the magical plugins, I could come over here and sort this by episode number, but whatever, I have it automatically going alphabetically. Same thing for Rogue. One thing here is that it's looking at them as my episodes. It's not looking at them as the games. So, for example, Mutant Academy is not, hey, here's 2 games for Mutant Academy that they were in. It's, hey, here's 1 episode that they were in that's Mutant Academy. As you can see, Wolverine has been in a lot of games. This one I was kind of lazy and didn't come in and put the game plot. But one of the cool things that I also have on here is what have the game makers made that we've already looked at. It's the same kind of thing with the characters. It's automatically pulling from that information that I have and broken out. Also, you have what is the previous episode and what is the next episode. I'm still trying to find a way to kind of automate that, but I think I might have something figured out. That being said, it's just a real quick, hey, cool, let's look at this other game that was previous. And a lot of that is because as I'm going through adding some things that I think might be useful, it's just easy for me to say, okay, let's go to the next one and just do it in that order. As I'm over on the guest page stuff, I have, in theory, I have social media contact info if I would ever put that in. A lot of these people are people I'm friends with, so I just, honestly, I don't bother to fill that in because I know how to get in contact with them. I have a things to get done section, which just picks up any kind of to dos that I have linked to them, and other stuff, which is just a free form text where I can type stuff because sometimes you just need to type stuff. But the thing is so cool. Like, oh, look, Cyclops, here's your 17 games that you've been in. I need to fix that one because it's broken. But we can see that Cyclops has been in games with Apocalypse and Beast and Bishop, and I'm not going to go through all of these because there's a lot, because I forgot for a second that X-Men Legends is a thing that exists. And so I picked a horrible character to do this with. But this is everybody that Cyclops has been in a game with. I have it broken down to where these are guests who have talked about a game that has Cyclops in it. Whether they made a big deal about Cyclops or not, I can't make any distinction there. But all of these people talked about a game with Cyclops. It's kind of the same deal for the publishers and the game makers. Have it broken down with these are games that they have published, where published for me is the episode has been published. In theory, they could also have ones that are recorded and stuff. So, I have a guest booked for the 2002 Spider Man game, episode 9D9999, because I need it to pick up some previous stuff. Everything that's been published is there. Everything that's on the quick list, it's there. Like, this thing is beautiful and I love it. I can come in here and there's published episodes by console just in case anybody cares. More importantly, future episodes by console. So for this one, as long as it's not published, actually, how do I have this set up? Yep, as long as it is on the quick list or in the far future. So if nobody has any claims on it, then it's an episode that exists. Somebody comes in and wants to say, hey, I want a PS2 game. Okay, cool. Guess what? Got you. I'm toying around with the idea of linking to these because that's just a thing that can happen. I don't know if I'm going to keep it though. I've come in here and every single guest that has appeared on the show, when it finally loads, oh, hey, guess what? It's broken down the exact same way. And I love it. There are just so many things that work with this, and it's it's all done through the magic of text, which is amazing. If we switch this back over into the editing mode, you can see a lot of metadata that I have in here. So a lot of this is duplicated, and that's just because I'm getting kind of finicky with how some presentation stuff is. Like, I could have links up here with the guest's name and everything, but I don't like the way it presents itself in some ways, and so I would just rather, for my own sanity, input the information in twice. But I have this set up as a template, so it pulls in this entire thing up here, without any of this white text information, because that's all information for this actual game. But all this orange text up here in the top section, it's automatically there. All of this information, these labels right here, they're all there. All the code to pull in these tables is already here. Like, I don't have to set up anything for this. It is beautiful. And a lot of this stuff, I'm looking it up anyway to make notes for the show, especially the game makers. Like, the publishers, not so much, because a lot of what we're looking at is either it's Marvel and DC. Like, we don't need to talk about Marvel and DC as a publisher. People know who they are. Or it's a small time publisher and they they're making this and that's kind of it for a while, or they're making this and they've got a game for another IP of theirs, but they're not related at all, and you don't have any kind of overall small publisher universe going on. So it doesn't matter. Excuse me. So it doesn't matter because they don't have any kind of small time universe thing going on. But when you get to the game makers, I like talking about what they have previously made because it kind of gets you into the quality of what these game makers can do. And if I have any questions for the guest, they can go right on this page. That is more so going to show up on these bonus episodes. Yes, I know I'm scrolling fast. I'm very sorry. Where I can just write these questions out real quick, check them off as I'm going through, and I mean, that's it. I'm good to go. Excuse me. I can just write this list of questions real quick, check them off as I'm done. Like, I know what I've done, and like, it's right there. There's absolutely no question about I've asked a question or I've not asked a question. I can just throw them on this page real quick. Like, everything is fine. So basically, that is my Obsidian setup. I love it. It has been really good for me. I've also been able to sneak in some personal stuff, which doesn't matter for the podcast at all. So I'm not going to show you all that, but it's fun. It's just really fun. I mean, really, where else am I going to be able to find a giant record of every single character, playable character, in a video game that was based on a comic? Nowhere. Nowhere. Sneak preview for some future stuff because you're watching this video. The character frequency is not really, it's not the shape that I was expecting at all. We'll put it that way. Guest frequency is more what I was expecting. But what can you do, right? So basically, that's my Obsidian setup. I love it. And it's just something that works really well for me because I can pull up my phone real quick and type a note. And I can come back to my computer when I get home and fix it up. Actually, one of the things that's really good for me was that with Airtable and with the CRM and stuff, I was not able to keep myself from updating things while I was at work. So, because I had access to it at work, because I'm on a computer by myself, because my job has timelines that are very largely get these done by the end of the day, and it doesn't really matter if you get it all done at the last 10 seconds of the day or if you spread it out. I could go update these things at work. And with Obsidian here, I can't because I either have to do it on my phone, to go through so much trouble that it's not worth it. Oh, that yawn disappeared. With Obsidian, I can't update it really because I'm either doing it from my phone or like that's basically it. Because I purposely set it up to where I couldn't update things at work. I think that's a feature for me. I have all of this stuff because it's things that are I'm going to be looking up anyway. I'm going to you know I know that I need this information, so there's no question for me what information I need to get from people. Absolutely nothing. And I like that. I know exactly what I need to get. If things change, then it's not going to throw an empty database field in previous episodes. Like if I decide, for example, that I super want to have everybody's social media handles here in the show notes or in the notes that I'm writing here, I can just start adding that to the template and it's not going to add all that stuff going back. I think that is a feature for me and not a bug because it's not showing empty database fields. I can sit here in the episode notes here and see, hey, this thing has to be released before this date or after this date, and see a blank there and be fine because they just literally don't have anything, don't have any information there. Like for some reason, for me, that's different. A lot of things, I see a blank and I'm starting to get a little anxious about it because I really want to make sure that I have all the information I'm supposed to have. I do see some problems coming from this coming up, though. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect, but there are a few things. So, number one, if I'm going to share with anybody things from my phone, because I don't really have access to this from work, it's hard to share things with people while I'm at work. If somebody asks for the quick list, for example, yeah, I can throw them to the website. If they ask for, hey, what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games there are, that's not something I can do while I'm at work. So it's going to have to be, okay, I'm going to have to get back with you about that. And then I have to remember to get back with them about that, which isn't really a problem, I guess, but it is, I have to remember to do this thing, which is worse than not having to remember, I guess. If I do make changes and it's something that I want to go back and add, then sorry, we had hurricane sleep last night, which was it was fun, put it that way. Nothing like inappropriate, just in and out because anytime there was wind noise, Thor started freaking out because he really does not like hurricanes. Also, any kind of changes that I want to make with this, it is kind of a pain to have to go back and do it to every single episode. When I was doing those previous and next episode links, yeah, that's a pain. And thankfully, the thing that I think I have figured out with how to fix all of that going forward to where I don't have to just hard code, hey, this is the episode. Thankfully, I'm not going to have to go back and change all of those because, I mean, technically, I guess maybe I should slash could, but it's going to get me the same end result, so I really don't care. Also, with these front matter metadata tags that I have up at the top, they, I mean, we're looking at you have to be so super exact in your naming. Um, like capital letter is different from lowercase letter name. Plural is different from singular. I mean, it's good because that's the way things should be, but because it's text and not a heading on a field, it's possible for me to go in there and accidentally turn guests plural into guest singular, and that's just a pain because if I don't notice that, all of a sudden it's not pulling in information. And and if it's not pulling in information, I'm probably not going to see it immediately because I'm going to think there's something else weird. All right. So if anybody has any questions, you can get to me on Twitter. You can get to me on the Gonna Geek Discord server. I should probably tell you how to get there. If anybody has any questions for here, if you're watching this on a platform that has comments, you can leave a comment. If you catch me on Twitter at PlayComicsCast, you can ask some questions over there. You can catch me on the Gonna Geek Discord server at playcomics.com/GonnaGeek. That's GonnaGeek. You know, like the words gonna, like going to, and geek. You just kind of squish them together. And especially if you're one of the few people who were super specifically asking me how I do this stuff and keep myself organized, yeah, you can definitely ask me questions because you're the reason I made this anyway. Oh man, I gotta get better with this. I do. But for anybody who watch me do this live, thank you. This is probably gonna be another weekish or so before it gets out because I'm not gonna have to do too much editing. I'm just gonna take out the yawns and stuff. But yeah, it's nice seeing all of you. I hope you enjoyed seeing me and see what comes up next.